Welcome back, Double Teamed fam. How are we doing today? Today we welcome our beloved BFF. You've seen her on the show before. She's a licensed therapist, sexologist, and the host of Sluts and Scholars. Welcome, Nicoletta Heidegger. Hi.
Oh, so happy to be back. I love you.
We love you. I know our audience kind of knows you. You were here, how long has it been since you recorded with us? A year or two?
Yeah, I'm the bite a dick girl.
Yes.
Just in case you forgot. You forgot that in my bio. That was one thing. Yeah.
I go back and look at that clip all the time.
But do you bite dicks now?
No. I haven't tried it yet, actually.
Oh, my partner, when I had told him about that, was like, no, never. I don't want any of that. And now he likes it.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of pressure does he like?
It depends, but it's like a hard, slow, firm pressure. Kind of like down the shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dick biting convert.
I'm gonna try that. Well, what I was gonna say was, I know our audience kind of knows you, but I always like to start off with some fun little questions.
Oh.
I've never asked this one, and I know you're the perfect person to ask.
Okay.
What do you hope an alien dick looks like?
Well, I did just go to an extraterrestrial conference because I'm weird like that.
No, I know you love alien shit as much as I do.
Okay, see, I actually don't want the dick to look like anything. I want to be like penetrated in my like mind and my soul. I don't even want to see it. I want to be able to like feel almost like a ghost. Like I just want to be able to like feel it.
So just like a normal penis would be fine?
I don't even know if I can't even imagine like a physical representation of it. It's like beyond that. It's like beyond the physical realm.
I think I would still want it to look like a rod.
Like a rod?
Of
some kind of rod?
Yeah. Because you know what I always pictured? I think it would be really fun if they had like, you know how like Stitch can grow like different like limbs? I hope
it can just grow how you want it to grow.
Well, no. I'm kind of hoping there's like a small, medium, and large option. Like,
okay. But I like the idea that it could grow whatever. So based on the person and who they are,
yeah,
it will grow to fit you perfectly.
Yes, exactly. But I kind of like the idea of like there's like a maybe like a smaller, slightly thinner one for anal, and then like a good like medium,
They've
7-incher.
Got multiple.
Yeah. And then like for when you really want to like get, just push yourself and try something, have a little bit of a challenge. There's like a massive like 12-incher.
Yeah, just for those special Fridays.
With like a massive head on the end. That's what I hope for.
Yeah, but see, if it doesn't look like anything, it could be anything. It's like I'm agreeing with what you're saying in some ways, where it's just like they know me so well, and they're just connected to my like soul that they're like, I'm just gonna fill you up in the perfect way.
Oh, I like it. But I see what. Yeah,
I never thought of it that way. But then again,
that's a great question. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's the best question I've ever been asked. That's the only question I ever want to be asked from now on.
I knew you would be the perfect person to answer that question. Anyways, and then well shit, now I forgot my other one. Oh,
the other one's not important.
Well, no. But on the now, I don't know if you would hook up with a female alien.
I don't know if they are gendered.
Great point. But my question was going to be like, what do you think? Like,
what would the pussy look like?
What would the pussy look like?
It would look, maybe same answer, or it would look like this, like, alive, moving, blooming flower.
Okay, see, I was kind of thinking like that too. Like, I would love if it moves. Like, it really, like, enveloped.
Yeah.
Like, you could, like, have, like, the lips kind of, like, come out and, like, really envelop it. And
yeah, like, almost like one of those, what are those plants that, like, eat you, but I don't want it to eat me?
The
Venus flytrap. Yes. Give me... What's his name from Seymour? Little Shop of Horrors. I want Little Shop of Horrors, but like don't actually eat me.
Okay, that makes sense. But I love that.
Yeah, it's moving.
Yeah, I wanted to like. I wanted to like.
Yeah, and it's like dancing the whole time. Like it just like.
Mm-hmm. Do a little bit more with the lips. Yeah. Anyways, okay. Well, those are my.
What if our pussies did that? Could you imagine?
If you're on psychedelics, they probably do.
Maybe.
If you're looking close enough. Like, have you ever looked really close at testicles?
No. Why? Oh,
like,
they move, right?
They move. They're like these little everyone would recommend, regardless of if you like testicles or not sexually, like just get in there and really look at the skin because it moves like a little lava lamp and you can just see it like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
hot.
if you look close enough, our lips might be doing the same thing.
Our lips are sealed. I'm gonna, because I mean, sometimes like when I watch porn, you can kind of see the way that like the lips kind of do, you know, envelop around. It's really pretty. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah. Oh, we should do like a photo series of like just close-ups on that.
Yes, love that. We would need some volunteers because I'm not volunteering my pussy for it, but yeah. 100%.
I'm sure we'll find some
But
extraterrestrials
actually,
who are down.
I would love to have that picture of like my own. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, there's another idea. When I'm editing this episode later, I'm going to be like, oh, that one. And then that one. You know, one thing I like to do is, and I just did this a lot this weekend, my partner, basically have the guy lay down and then, you know, just like his dick hard or whatever, but like on his stomach. And then without penetration, just like
Gliding over.
Glide your pussy along.
Oh, yeah, that's so fun.
Oh, I do that all the time. I love that.
Yeah, totally.
It's great, like, for foreplay. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things ever.
So. Okay, now, not to completely switch gears, but...
Yeah, it's going to be hard to go from extraterrestrial to something else, but
I know.
we'll give it a go.
But I'm here for the free therapy sessions.
I know. But literally, I knew that was happening when I was coming on the podcast. I was like, my friends need it's been a while.
Well, you know,
need your unofficial therapy.
You know what it is? No, you know what it is? I really value you as a therapist. Like, I think you are amazing at your work and what you do. But it's like... conflict of interest for me to book you as my own therapist, so instead I'm like, come on the podcast.
Absolutely, we have trades all the time.
I'll read your chart.
Yeah, I know, it's good, you know. I love that. I love being in like community with people where we can like skill share and skill trade, because that's like how it could be and should be in some things, and you know.
Yeah I agree. But I also like I really respect your work. Like, I've seen you. I remember one time we were talking about something, and, you know, Nadej had asked you for advice, and, you know, it was like suddenly you had your therapist hat on and you said something, and I just remember like,
does it ever come off? I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if it ever comes off, but I remember like watching you like kind of break down the situation and offer your advice in the way that you did. I was like, I feel like I just experienced art. Like, that was your art.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. Thank you.
No, but it's true. It's really so beautiful.
I'm emotional today.
Oh, it's a full moon. It's okay.
Yeah, my feelings are feelinging.
Yeah, my feelings.
Oh, we love that.
Feeling.
Yeah. Ing.
Yes, but so my question was going to be, you know, Cami and I are transitioning to more monogamous relationships.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, have you ever
with J names? So that's going to be really fun.
I know.
J names. Of course, you both found a J name.
You have a J name too.
I know.
Like, we all have J names.
They're the best.
They are the best.
Actually, both the people that I am with have J names.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, what's the second one? I'll bleep it out. Oh, how funny. Love that. Okay.
That's so fun.
Wait, have you ever done a transition from like non-monogamous to monogamous?
I've definitely had different like permutations of a relationship. The partner that I'm with now, though, is like, I mean, we've been together like 8 years, but it's the first time I've like been in an ongoing like non-monogamous relationship for that long. You know, when I was before that, I was more doing kind of like solo poly exploration. And within my relationship, we've had like different times and permutations of monogamy, non-monogamy, just like different flares, different flavors, different chapters.
So there's been an ebb and a flow to it.
Yeah, there's been some fluidity to it, I would say. Though like at the beginning of the relationship, I was pretty clear early on that I was like, I am non-monogamous, and that's going to be something that is like a part of me. Can you handle that?
Yeah, but it started. Wait, did it start non-monogamous or monogamous?
I would say technically started non-monogamous because I was like dating around, but then when we sort of found commitment to each other, it started monogamous, but with the conversation that like opening up was something that I knew that I needed and wanted
Later on.
for my life.
Yeah, and he was okay with that.
Yeah.
Love that. And so...
I mean, lots of conversations, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to hear about the times that maybe you transition from like a more non-monogamous phase to a monogamous one.
I mean, I think it's great that you guys are doing this. Like, I think when a lot of people say that they're non-monogamous or have practiced non-monogamy, there's this like assumption that they're saying that that's like the best way to be in relationship. And that's like, if you're doing that, you're more evolved.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing that, like you've made it to what kind of relationship you're supposed to have. And I don't agree with that. Like, I see in my practice, I see people with all kinds of relationships. And to me, what it's really about is having enough information to make informed choices that work for you.
Yeah.
And so I think monogamy is great if that's like an intentional choice that somebody is making, knowing all the options that are out there, having done some of the work on themselves, like communicating about it and deciding versus sliding. You know, most people slide into monogamy. They're just like, that's what you're supposed to do. And you do this and then you do this, as opposed to, okay, I know things, I've tried things, I've explored things, and this is what I'm choosing right now.
I love that you say that, because that's like exactly how I feel about it. And what I was thinking about the other day is that like, I feel like, you know, my marriage obviously started monogamous, and yeah, it was just kind of like, that's all I ever knew. So I'm, you know, that's like what we went into it, and that's how we did it.
Yeah.
And it was fine. It was not a bad thing at all. And then, you know, at one point we decided to open up and we went more non-monogamous and eventually like poly and everything. And then when we divorced, like I felt like I tried like every flavor of non-monogamy under the sun, you know?
Yeah, you've all heard it, I hear.
No, exactly. And now, you know, like choosing to go back to monogamy, I was
Yeah.
actually telling my partner this the other day. I'm like, it feels so good, because I actually feel like I'm making an empowered decision to choose this. And, you know, it's like you said, like, I feel like I have the tools, you know, in the future. Because I did tell him, I'm like, you know, hopefully, like, I wanted to start monogamous, but like maybe later on, like we can go to some play parties together and just explore that environment and see how we feel. Or like, I really love playing with women. I'd love to have a threesome with you, like things like that. And he was like, all good. You know, I'm on board with that. But like, I feel like, you know, if and when I'm ready to take that step, like I actually know how to approach it. And I have, like you said, like the tools to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I don't know if you two have ever...
I was trying to move the plant for you.
I know the plant is like really in me.
Oh, is it there?
This is what the
it's
alien
like the,
dick actually looks like. It's just enveloping me into it. What were we talking about?
But you were about to say something. I don't remember what.
I know, but now I'm thinking about extraterrestrial dick, as always. That's like
said-
what I'm usually thinking about.
It's really interesting.
The more like space and permission I've had to explore different types of relationships, sometimes the more I do lean into monogamy.
Interesting. Yeah.
And that's not, I think for me lately, that's more been because I feel like I've been wanting to focus on like my partnership with myself and mental health and self-care and just feeling like not having the bandwidth for as many other connections.
Yeah.
And things like that. And so it's interesting because the more like freedom and permission I have, sometimes the less I actually feel like I need or want.
No, that makes total sense.
Versus in moments where I'm feeling like controlled by society or by whatever, or shame or a partner, then I'm like, I need to have all these other things and experiences. I need to have more and more and more. And like nothing wrong with that if that's okay in your setup. But sometimes once you know that you're like next to the cage instead of in the cage, you're like, oh, I actually do want to sleep in this cage.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that analogy.
I like that metaphor. Yeah. Or the
Yeah.
analogy, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I forgot. I think it's one of our friends who maybe said this, and I can't remember who. My apologies, but I often hear people use the phrase like monogamy doesn't have to mean monotony.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't know. Monogamy gets a bad rap, and it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
boring and shitty if you're like being intentional about it.
I feel, and that's what I was actually thinking about the other day. I'm like, I feel like non-monogamy better prepared me for monogamy.
Yeah,
Like-
there's so many good things from it to learn in terms of how we communicate, how you manage jealousy, all that stuff. Absolutely.
And I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, I feel so much better prepared for monogamy because of it. Because I feel like the first time I entered a really serious monogamous relationship with my ex-husband, like I didn't have the communication tools, and I didn't know how to deal with so many of the things, you know, like jealousy, or, you know, you find someone else attractive and you're like, you know, all those things. And so now going back into it, I'm like, oh wait, I know what to do when I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I know how to soothe myself in those situations.
Yeah, I know how to incorporate like fantasies or desires about other people, things, situations.
Yeah.
I'm excited to like
show, I don't know, because, you know, I had kind of like that tumultuous situationship for 2 years when I was discovering non-monogamy, and then I did the poly relationship, and then I did another situationship, and now I'm just like, I'm excited to show someone my loyalty and my devotion.
Yes.
To, you know, especially when the energy is like reciprocated back to me. I'm like, you know, and we talked about it because like with my partner, we're like, okay, yeah, closed. I won't play with women either, just because, you know, well, and, you know, we even talked about like threesomes and stuff, and he's like, yeah, threesomes are fun, but like emotionally, are you going to be good with it? And I'm like, not anytime soon, because I don't want to share him. So like, I think about it, and like, I know I still have some work to do, like around jealousy and things like that, but I am very excited to like show him my devotion and loyalty.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because to me, this sort of also brings up this concept of like, is this an orientation? Is this choice? And I think about that with other sexual orientations too. And I guess the way I operate in my therapy practice is like, no matter how somebody got there to that point, like it's valid.
Yeah.
Meaning like if you were born that way and this is you and you feel like it's not changing, like cool, that's valid. If you feel like sexuality and things are fluid and choice and based on your experiences, like cool, that's valid. So I think, it's interesting to me because I don't want people who are like anti-non-monogamy to think like, oh, well, if it's a choice, like why are you choosing to do that? You know, but it like, I don't know. It's interesting. And I think the one thing that comes to my mind in terms of like shifting or flowing in and out of different relational styles is just making sure that you're like aware of other people who are in your potential like relational configuration. You know, because I think there can be a lot of like couple privilege if you're in like a hierarchical non-monogamy setup and you're like, oh, well, for now we're non-monogamous, but like later if we don't feel like it, like we're just gonna drop you.
Exactly.
The other person.
Yeah.
And so that's my one like caveat here is like, yeah, flowing in and out is great, and like be aware of how you're potentially like objectifying other people in your choices to flow in and out of different relationship styles.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you have to be like stuck, but you know, acknowledging what your potential couple or relational privilege is with other people that you might be connecting with, and how you want to navigate that if things are changing.
No, and I think that's a really great point because you know, that would take time to de-escalate, especially if it's like more poly where like it's like a you know, there's more relation or more emotions involved in everything. Yeah, that would be hard. So
yeah, I mean, is it something that you two have had to do, like sharing with other people you've been hanging out with, like, oh, actually I'm like can't also see you, because I'm remembering doing that when I was more like serial monogamous growing up, where I'm like had to have that conversation with other people I was dating, being like, oh, I've like picked one. Yeah. You know, and it like reminds me of this like, it reminds me of all the dating shows where I'm like so sad that like whatever Love Island, Bachelor, that they have to like pick one when it could just easily be solved by being like, I don't have to pick. We can all fuck.
Exactly. I always thought that about The Bachelor. I'm like, why can't we?
Yeah. Why isn't there a non-monogamous one? Or like Tila Tequila, Shot at Love was such before its time. Really.
Wow. That was,
I've started bringing that up
to people,
but like, I don't know. Cause I think about it, and it's like in like my immediate past, it's not like I've had like, it's not like I've been consistently seeing anyone, right?
Yeah.
There were like a few guys that like texted me and that, you know, were like, hey, like let's plan a date. And I'd be like, oh, actually, like I'm with someone now.
How did they
and
respond?
Like I even like told that to my partner, and he told me the same. He was like, oh, before we got together, like there was this girl I went on a few dates with, but I just ended it with her. I wanted you to know. So I really appreciated that. But then I think of like, I think of the partnerships, the casual partnerships that I've had that have been like over a year long. Like for example, one guy who's in our non-monogamy community, you know, he has a long-term partner. They live together. She cuts my hair, and I used to sleep with him every now and then, right? And
she
now
can still cut your hair,
right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
No.
Okay,
She still will.
Is she good? I need a new person to cut my hair.
She's great.
Okay.
I love them both to pieces, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh wait, now I got to tell C like, hey, like we can't hook up anymore, you know? And I'm sure he'll be very happy for me to hear that I found someone that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, for me at least, because I've been to, you know, as people like reach out to me, I'll let them know like, hey, I have a partner now, we're monogamous. And all my dudes from the non-monogamy space have been so excited for me, because I think they've known that like I've been looking for a monogamous relationship and that I want like a partner and I want something that feels more serious. And I remember one of them, he was like, hey, you know, him and his girl, they were like, we'd love to see you again. It's been a long time. Like, would you want to get together sometime? And like, you know, because we used to have threesomes all the time. And I told him, I'm like, no, I was like, I'm in a monogamous relationship now, blah, blah, blah. And immediately he was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Just like all these like really like super like beautiful, loving things. And so many of the other guys too. And it was just so nice to see that like, you know, they realized what I was looking for, and they realized that like, you know, what my goals were in relationships, or maybe they listened to what my desires were, but B, that they were just like genuinely happy for me. Like they didn't care that, oh, we can't hook up anymore. Like no one made any like stupid comments. Instead, they were just like so happy, wish you the best. Blah,
no,
blah,
I mean,
blah.
I think the negative feelings more come up when like someone thinks that someone is non-monogamous, but really they're just like looking for their monogamous person, but not being clear about it.
Yeah.
And so there's like not a discussion of like what the relational expectation is.
Yeah.
And so like this person is like putting themselves out there as non-monogamous, and then they're like, oh, just kidding, I found the person.
Yeah.
And like, not to say you can't change your mind, but I think that that's where it can get tricky if someone's like not being transparent with their
what they're looking
expectations
for.
and like
no,
relational desires.
Yeah, I think everyone, at least like, not, I mean, I've only really ever had like casual people.
It's so
in the
interesting that you
past.
both have like found this at the same time. What do you think shifted for you both?
I don't know.
But you know what? We've been talking about this in relation
Here's
to
my therapy question. Which shifted?
well, in relation to what you just said, actually, this shift has been happening for us for quite some time.
Over a year.
Like since when I broke up with Cody.
We've talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I broke up with Cody last July, I knew I wanted something monogamous.
Yeah.
And so, and I feel
thought
like
he'd be a Taurus, but things have shifted.
Right? No, the Taurus is hers.
Okay, so you were just seeing the wrong dimension.
But it's true, because like, you know, we kind of both have been calling this in. We both knew like, okay, you know, I just finished this poly relationship. I had a tumultuous situationship before then. Like I need someone that I can establish like security and a foundation with. And then after her divorce and having a few partners.
I mean, I kind of went on the same journey. That's what my whole that's what came out of my celibacy challenge was I was like, you know,
it was helpful that you did the celibacy.
100%. Yeah, I honestly, that celibacy challenge was one of the best things I ever did.
Wait, when was that again?
That was last summer, like July to September.
God, time is weird. I'm like, that was like last week, right?
No, that was last summer. But it really, that was the first time that I finally realized that I was like, oh, like I think I'd been already kind of shifting, but even more so that's when I was like, I think I actually need something that's like more monogamous. And then I also just like, thought about it and realized like in a lot of ways, like non-monogamy worked for my ex-husband and I at the time because of like the situation that we were in. We were apart all the time. Like, you know, we didn't get to see each other a whole lot. You know, we were horny and like, so it like, that was it, you know, and it worked well for us. And, you know, we tried different ways and, you know, I'm happy mostly with like the way that we did it, but I was like, when I discovered that, I feel like I was like, so like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Like, I don't know how anyone could ever do monogamy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
yeah.
Anyways, but like when I got out of that and I tried a bunch of different, you know, styles, like blah, 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 then I finally realized, kind of going back to that orientation thing, it can't just be something that you choose for a certain time of your life. Yeah. And there can be an ebb and a flow. So I love to hear that like you and your partner have like had like, you know, different moments of it throughout time, because I do think, you know, once you discover that tool, you realize that like you can truly make it whatever you need it to be for your relationship.
Yeah.
So, and like you have the power to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the beauty of it.
Yeah. I mean, do either of you have any like concerns? Because it sounds like you both feel like excited about it. And
no,
where's the therapy? Are we just like celebrating the growth and the strengths today?
Well, no, actually, I
love sessions like that with my clients. I think everyone comes in and they're like, "Sorry, I don't have any trauma for you today," and I'm like, you know, I'm here for that.
I went to Melinda with some trauma.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm so glad. I need to go see her again too.
Love Melinda,
but I also feel like it's so important, if not more important, not that we have to like be toxically positive or like find the silver lining and shit like that, but like taking the time to acknowledge what's going well and why is that going well, and acknowledging like the growth stuff and the strength pieces. That's so key, because otherwise sometimes people just like repeat their trauma story over and over, and then sometimes it like digs that narrative even deeper. As opposed to like, can we also talk about the resources, and can we talk about the moments when you felt better and the moments when you felt safe, not to like invalidate the negative. But I practice that a lot with my clients, because a lot of times they come in and they're just like, if I don't have a crisis, like what do I have to talk about?
Yeah. That's how I felt.
You're right though.
Yeah.
In the sense that like,
and I'm also here for the crises.
Well, I mean, you know, because going back into monogamy, I've definitely had like my freak out moments of like, you know.
Oh, my fears just bubble.
I know, mine are just like,
I'm like, what if I'm not good enough? What if you find someone else? Like, I'm just like,
yeah.
No, yeah, I have to work.
Then you can discuss, and maybe there's an opening again. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think what has been kind of the biggest thing for me, not that I definitely don't fear it, and I feel like I like will know how to handle it, but you know, like I think my mind likes to go to like the worst case scenarios.
Oh yeah, that's
absolutely.
Fun. Yeah. Our minds have been trained for that.
I know. It's like let's just.
If they had Olympics for that, I would be a fucking star.
I wish. Could you imagine?
I mean, I guess they do. It's like doomsday preppers. Like I would win that, I think.
This is true. I feel like I would as well. But like, yeah, I mean, sometimes like I think I'm like, okay, well, and you know, what if like later down the road, like, you know, the sex isn't as like exciting as it used to be, and like, you know, we're just still not ready to like open up or anything. Like, what do I do then?
You work on it.
Exactly. I feel like a lot of times when those fears come up, I'm like, okay, just relax. Like you can, or like, I'm like, what if, you know,
but maybe it's not a what if, maybe it's making a plan. When this happens, here's what we're going to do. Because I mean, I don't want to like tell you what your relationship is going to be like, but like, if you're together a long time, you're going to have to work at your sex.
Yeah. Love that. That's actually a really great
monogamy or non-monogamy. Like you're going to have to work at it.
I was going to say whether you're monogamous or non-monogamous.
Yeah, and look, sure, some people maybe do feel more like naturally compatible, whatever that is. But like, I don't really buy into this like compatibility myth. Like to me, desire, attraction is like a fire that you continue to like tend and build. And there are some people who maybe have more like natural kindling that's already there, but like you can also choose to work on that continuously, you know, and it's just something you like that you have to work on to different extents at different times. So like, don't say if, be like, yeah, that's probably going to happen in some wave or another.
Yeah.
You have all the tools now to manage that based on like all the work you guys have done in this podcast and the stuff that you guys do.
No, this is true.
I like choice. And I was at the beach the other day.
I like choice.
Well, no, I like the way that you said that, because I was the other day, like I was at the beach with my partner and I was like, how do you define love? And then I remember I gave him my definition and I was like, it is actively choosing someone. Day in, day out, you know, despite the ebbs and the flows. Like love is a choice because you choose them even when it gets hard.
Yeah, I know. That's why when people say they like fell out of love, like, yeah, I guess I believe that happens, but
you can
also choose the work that you're putting in, and you can choose to decide how much work feels like too much for you and like how much you want to keep doing.
Oh, so beautifully put. And also, I love that you asked that question. And your definition of it as well.
Yeah, how do you define that? You
said I think the same, because like I think back to my marriage. You know, there were times where, you know, you get really annoyed with someone. You spend a lot of time with them, and you know, I think our relationship too. You know, we spend every day together. Kimmy was gone all weekend, and when she came home today, I like could not wait to like hug her because I missed her so much. Yeah, and it was like so nice, and
I'm touched.
We're just gonna have a J compound where we all live with our J's.
With our J's, love it.
But and then we can have a pool and it has a J at the bottom.
It's a J. Yeah. Is it a J or an anal hook?
Anyway. They'll never know. Or an alien dick. Sorry, extraterrestrial.
Ooh, I kind of like the curve. I would like that curve. Anyways, what I was saying is that like, you know, even with Kimmy, obviously like she's family, so like there's kind of like always that like, the love will never go anywhere. But sometimes like it is also a choice to, be like, wake up and be like, I'm going to tolerate you today.
Yeah, I fucking hate you, but I'm making a choice to not murder you. That's my choice today.
It's like, but it was the same in my marriage. There were some days where you wake up and you're like, I'm going to choose to tolerate you because I love you,
Yeah.
And I understand that. But yeah, I guess like for me,
I mean, even though I do this though, and I am in this field and I preach this stuff, like it is really hard going from that new relationship energy to not.
Yes. No, it is.
Yeah, like I know all this stuff logically, but even when you're in it, like there can be like a grieving process too sometimes.
Well, and I think that's what's like been coming up for me is that like I realize, we're in this like honeymoon phase and it's great and I love it, but I have been in a long-term relationship before.
Yeah.
I was with my partner my ex-husband for 9 years. I know what it's like to go from like, oh my God, this is so great to I can't stand the way you breathe. Please exit the room.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, and I feel like because I've been single for the past, 3 years and like very open, like I haven't reached that stage with anyone, but even when I was with them for a little bit longer, like, there were like, for example, there were, some people that were in my life for, 2 years or like maybe like 10 months or whatever. And that those shifts never really happen because I think like when you're in a non-monogamous container, you just have a lot more going on and those shifts don't become like as apparent because you're not kind of focused on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel that way, but like that's kind of what I noticed. And so, because you have novelty that kind of comes in pretty often. And there were also like just more casual relationships in general. So I don't think there was as much of that like honeymoon phase anyways, but regardless, so now that I'm like back into this, like I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, well, what was it like with my ex-husband? But I also know like it's not going to necessarily repeat either because like obviously relationships are so nuanced and like your energy with someone is so different. But, I know what can happen over time in a monogamous relationship and I'm like trying to prepare myself for it and like, or just like think about like, the possibilities or I know the patterns that can happen and repeat themselves and like I want to prepare myself for them but at the same time I'm like let's just be present.
Yeah but I'm interested to see how it's going to impact like how the podcast goes too.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, yeah, joy mode is basically like pre-workout for your dick. We've had some of our guy friends try it before and let's just say it really puts you in sport mode. Yeah, it puts the sport in sport mode. Gives you that extra little boost. Maybe you're a little tired. Yeah. This is like specifically to help with blood flow. And it's also just like a good like supplement as well, for men's dick health in general. So if you want to give it a try, of course, we've got a promo code for you. Yes, go to tryjoymode.com. Again, that's tryjoymode.com and use code DOUBLETEAM for savings. Interested in that as well. I'm like,
I hope you guys stick around.
There are so many unknowns now.
Yeah. Well, but I hear one part of it is like, okay, how did non-monogamy prepare you for monogamy? And like, what's interesting about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be like, there's just so many shifts all around because like my partner's in San Diego, Nikki's is in Italy. And then they're gonna come back, and then I don't know where that's going to be. So like,
mine's all the way in Long Beach, so it's very far.
Wait, is he?
Yeah, we've done LA long distance for like 8 years.
Nice.
Wait, I didn't know this.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you guys. That is LA long distance.
Yeah. To me, I think that's the key is like not living together.
Well, you know what I was going to say?
Or when you do live together, being able to have like, get to a place where you can afford like separate rooms.
I'm kind of like, I kind of like that right now he and I live together because it means like live apart. Live apart. Because during the time that we're together, like then it's, cherished, right? And then we go, because I remember when
you're not just like farting on the couch together, like on your phones.
When I was with my ex-fiance, he would deploy like 2 to 3 months twice in the year. So he'd be gone for half the year. But like, I feel like, and I was telling this to my partner the other day, had my ex-fiance not been doing that, like not deploying, we probably wouldn't have made it as far. I think
I can see that.
I think the distance made us stay together longer.
Yeah.
But
my question is, what about sex parties?
I still want to go to them in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I think of you two, I just think of like my sex party friends.
I know.
And I'm like, what are you gonna do now?
I already kind of started transitioning a little bit out of them this year.
Yeah.
We haven't been going to as many as we have in the past.
Do you feel like an absence or a missing, or you feel, because that's like part community too?
I think I have a strong enough relationship with my community that even if I'm not attending sex parties, but like I'm still going to concerts with them, or even just like brunches, whatever, like the friendships will still be maintained.
I'm not going to be your friend anymore. So
okay, well. But I think
that's great.
It's gonna be interesting. One thing I will say though is like I feel like I'm gonna start grieving the fact that Nikki and I are not gonna be living together.
I've started grieving that.
Oh, you're already like preemptively grieving.
Well, because and I knew it.
But why can't we live kibbutz style and like, you know, we can all do that LLC, buy a big property, and you have a house and I have a house and you have a house and the Dej has a house. We all have a house.
Yeah. A compound.
Yeah, a compound
with some common areas. No, I've been dreaming of this for years.
But
I agree. I've been thinking about that too. Yeah. You know, I feel like and we kind of knew it earlier this year. Like I remember there was a few months back, like I just had this feeling all of a sudden, and I was like, and I remember Nicole was walking down the stairs from her room. I was like pissed at her already, just annoyed. It was like the morning.
Like, what if it's the last time?
She hadn't even said a word yet, and I was like,
the breathing. She was breathing.
Right? She breathed in my ear, and I was no, but like I specifically remember thinking, I was like, our time living together is coming to an end, and I need to appreciate this now because I'm gonna miss it.
So. I've thought the same thing.
Oh,
and
I'm gonna cry.
I've picked a lot less
really
fights.
Tearful today, you guys.
No, I know. I'm sorry. We started with the alien dicks, and now we're crying.
Isn't that the goal? I think that's always my goal. Whenever, if I'm on, if I'm on Stephanie's podcast, if I'm on y'all's podcast, like somebody always cries. Like, I'm just known as like I'm just here to make you cry.
Yes, I love it.
What's your moon in again? I'm trying to remember. I gotta go back and look at your chart.
I'm Aquarius, aren't I?
Okay, that's not a crying placement. Okay, anyway.
Ask Danny. Danny knows mine.
No, I have your chart.
Oh, you
I just gotta look at it. Yeah. No,
Everyone
I agree
knows my
though.
chart except me.
I've been thinking about that too. It's like, because we've been living together for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now that, it will change, and that makes me sad. I don't know, lots of...
But I think that's like a beautiful thing to do maybe in any relationship. Not to say that you should be panicking every moment of like, when am I going to lose you? But that opportunity to like zoom out and try to like look at the person as if this was either the first time or the last time you were seeing them. The first time with those like fresh... Oh my God, let's all cry. The first time...
Stop! No!
The first time with those like fresh, curious eyes of like... Almost like you're looking at an extraterrestrial dick for the first time.
Love it.
Of like, wow, what is this? What does it do? Like, who are you? And just being curious of like how, I don't know, in awe, trying to be in awe of that person as if you're seeing them for the first time. Like, I think that's so important for long-term relationships. But then also looking at them as like, if this were the last time, how would I want to be connecting with this person and not taking them for granted? So
exactly,
I do think there's something to what you're saying, regardless of like if and when things are going to end. Like, we're all dying. It is all going to end, like.
No, that's true.
How do we oh my God, how do we appreciate this person now?
It reminds me of when my ex-husband and I, when our marriage was clearly starting to end, we were in Greece.
Yeah.
And I think I knew then that it was like, at least that it would never be the same because of the conversations that we were having and, the discussions and everything. And I knew that big changes were coming and it was really hard. But there was one night where, his girlfriend was like asleep in the Airbnb. Cammy was asleep in the Airbnb. And I hope I don't cry when I think of this moment.
Let's all just cry.
But him and I were like in the hot tub outside, and we just put on Excision, who's a DJ that we really like, and we were just listening to Excision and talking about like all of our memories together. Whoa. And we just like gave each other like a really big hug, and like I always remember that like as like our like kind of that moment, like how I would want him to remember me, how I wanted to remember him, because like there was just a lot of love in that moment. And I remember I always thought, I was like, I think that was the last night that he was mine, and then we parted ways, so but it was and I think honestly my marriage, and like it was, I think, just such like a great, healthy, loving, wonderful marriage. Like I look at it very fondly, and I think that in itself has also prepared me for like my next like serious long-term relationship, because like I think back to it and I'm like, I should have picked a lot less fights. You know, there were things that like they didn't matter. You know, there were days where like choosing each other was hard, but we did it anyways, and that was really great. And like the feeling of like, you know, when you come out of a lull and back into a peak, like the beauty of like seeing that person again in a new light, or like, you know, we'd have like some sort of like new experience, and you kind of just like see them as like, you know, the person that you met back when you met them, like all of that. And so it did teach me like how to have appreciation for someone, and how to like think big picture rather than just like in that small moment where their breathing is driving you nuts, you know? And so
I think, I don't know how you two feel about this, but one thing I struggle with that is sometimes having a hard time being able to like appreciate and let go. You know what I mean? Like, I think when I think back to people or whatever I valued, like I'll appreciate, and there's a part of me that wants to like collect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
You know? I want to create just a fucking vintage store of all of my experiences and exes and all those things, and just keep them all in there. Never lose them, you know? So I think it's definitely a practice and an art form to be able to like appreciate and not be each other's or mine or whatever you want to call it, you know? Like,
I think
I struggle with that sometimes.
The biggest lesson for me, and that was Calvin. Because I mean, now like we have a great friendship, you know, that whole thing was just so up and down, but like I'm so happy that we're back at like just like a really wonderful friendship. And I see him with his, you know, his partner now, and he's just like so happy. And I just remember I had that moment not long ago, maybe like a few months back, where I was like, you know, it was the two of them, and they like looked so happy, and I like just kind of like remembered all the like moments of happiness that we had in the past, and like how much I cherished them, but like, you know, that I had to like let go and just be like, you know, you go find your happiness and I'll go find mine. And so, and then now like, you know, I still see him occasionally, and it I don't know, it's kind of a nice feeling though, that like I was kind of like able to master that. Yeah. You know, because it like can be really so beautiful, but it's also the same with my ex-husband. I don't see my ex-husband as much. Yeah. So I don't think I have like those moments as much as I do with him. But anyways, yeah. But I understand that though. It's hard. Yeah. To get to a point where you're like, yeah, it's not going to happen. Never gonna happen.
Yeah. Like I can appreciate what we had, but now we're moving down the river.
Letting go is hard.
Life goes on.
It's so hard.
So hard.
Oh my God. What a practice.
But
wait, I'm curious. So and I don't know how I didn't know this, because we've been friends for years. So he lives down in
Long Beach,
and you're up.
I'm in the Deep Valley.
You're in the valley. Yeah. Okay, so like, what's his schedule look like? I knew that y'all didn't.
He definitely comes to me more than I go there.
Okay. Well, I knew that y'all didn't like live together, but I guess I just didn't know that he lived in Long Beach.
Yeah, no, we've been plotting and planning like living together for a long time, but really wanting to like have a space where we have some of our own spaces. I think we both really value and appreciate some of those like individual independent things, and we have a lot of similarities, but also a lot of differences and things that we like different and how we like to spend our time. And so and with the non-monogamy thing too, it's also nice to have like some separateness.
Yeah, I would agree.
So the distance can be, I mean, you two know this with your distance, the distance can be hard sometimes when you just wish like, can you just come over right now? Yeah, you just want to fucking hug. And you know, trying to find ways to like somatically remember the moments in the hug, so you can use those as a resource, or to make sure you're spending time with friends, or I think we have been planning to live together at some point, but there's certainly pros and cons. But to me, that's the same thing as like designing relationships. Like you can also make informed choices about like designing your living, right? Like you two could live apart, or we could start a sex compound, you know?
Yeah.
Like
absolutely
on board.
Right? You could, like, I have friends who live together, but them and their partner have separate beds. Yeah. And it looks more like a fancy hotel, because they like have different like textures that they like of their sheets, or different temperatures, or, you know, one person snores and this person wants better sleep, you know, like you can really curate your own. So just like really.
Like Gwyneth Paltrow, her and her partner, they only spend like 4 days sleeping together and then 3 days apart.
Yeah, really like make it figure out what works for you. And that might change over time.
Yep. I was asking my partner, I was like, so like in a relationship, like what do you see as a reasonable time to like move in with the partner? But
you're like, it's been about a week. Are we ready or what?
Actually, no, but I I was thinking this in the sense of that, like, you know, because of my ex-fiance, he and I moved in after 3 months of dating because of the timing.
Yeah.
Right? It just
I am 8 years. I'm like, I don't know if it's time.
Exactly. Oh, commitment. No, thanks.
But you're also so much, like, more mature and, like, you know, in your more, like, in your ways.
And I have lived with people. Yeah. It's different, you know.
Yeah. But I was thinking about it and I was like, well, because, you know, his lease is going to be up. My lease is going to be up around the same time. Nikki's going to fuck off to Europe, whatever. You know, then I'm over here. I'm thinking.
And we'll all come back together at our compound.
Yes.
When we're
finished. I'm just manifesting that.
I'm thinking, I'm glad that you're manifesting this. Yeah. This is a great way to manifest, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyways, compound. So I'm like trying to think. I'm like, you know, I feel now as like, you know, a person in their 30s, like I feel more established in the sense that like, okay, you know, for example, he and I are about to spend like, you know, 3 days, 4 days apart. I have my own schedule. He has his own schedule, like hobbies, things we do.
Do you think he'll survive? Or are you going to be okay?
No, I'll be fine. No, and that's the thing is like, you know, I feel like in my earlier 20s when my ex-fiance and I moved in together like right away, like I feel like I needed that more. Right? Now I'm
because it's hard to trust the connection when it's not right there tangibly.
Exactly.
So to be able to hold it in heart and in mind is so it's like like you're correcting attachment wounds.
Well, and that's the thing. Me with anxious attachment, I'm over here like, I know my mind's going to start overthinking the minute we're apart. But like as I was driving home,
Do you think you've given yourself space to like be attached differently though? Because I often hear people like put themselves in these categories of like, oh, I'm anxiously attached or I'm avoidantly attached. Like you can change your attachment patterns and styles through working on attachment trauma. So
and
like,
that's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
And I really want to work towards secure because he's definitely more secure and I can see that.
Yeah.
And him being secure gives me a lot of
peace, probably
calmness that I really like. So I'm over here like, okay, like we don't need to move in together within the next, you know, 3 months. Like 6 months, 8 months, somewhere around that time frame, like sometime middle of next year, that'd be a great time to explore it, I think. But it just kind of feels nice that like, you know, looking at that and then just like realizing that I am a little bit more, at least with like the work that I've done over the past like year or so, I'm more prepared for this.
Yeah.
Nice.
Different attachment things can come out with different people. I remember like I was definitely more wired towards anxious attachment when I was younger, and I've done a lot of work on it. And, you know, at the beginning that had me attracted to the people who were, you know, showing up more avoidantly. And so when I finally like was trying to embrace like a more secure, attached, secure functioning relationship, part of me was like, now I'm going to be avoidant.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know, it's hard to, if you haven't worked on it or if you're still working on it, it's hard to take in and receive consistent, secure care when usually anxious people like don't trust that. Like security almost feels like a threat because you're like, well, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Like I need the chaoticness because it's predictable to me.
I was kind of battling that over the past like week because you know,
it takes practice to like receive something that's quote unquote good.
But but that's like I kind of had to like do a shift, and once I did, I was like, oh. But basically, because like I mean, we met less than 2 weeks ago, but
we're moving in together soon.
Right. No, but the thing is, like, even right from the start, like, he reciprocated and showed immediate interest. And, like...
They were like, boring.
No, exactly. But that's the thing is, like...
What an idiot.
I haven't, like... I was spending all weekend with him, and I was so, like, enamored and, like, in the moment, and I felt so good and safe and secure. And I'm over here, and I'm like... Where are the heart palpitations? Yeah. Where is the chest
Why
pain?
am I not panicking?
Yeah. Where is the chest pain? Why am I not panicking? What's going on? And then I had to sit there for a moment. Why is there peace? Yeah. Why is there peace? Exactly.
Yeah, because the peace ends up for some people becoming the trigger because it's your body trying to take care of itself of being like, oh, we don't want to be caught unawares again.
Oh, okay. I'm going through that too. That's what it is.
No,
that's what it is.
No, exactly. And I had to have that shift. I'm like, no, he's just reciprocating. He's giving you what you want. So you're not going to feel that god-awful chest pain.
But your body has to start feeling safe.
Yeah.
You know, I know.
And that's an adjustment.
That's really good.
That's for real. I mean, and to me, that's like an ongoing thing, but that's like...
It's hard.
Yeah, it is definitely can be hard, but it's very possible. I can say I've done it.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Yeah. There's still waves that come in sometimes where I'm like, let's start some drama. Just
stir the pot.
I'm a little bored. How can I fuck this up today?
No, I told
that
my
comes
partner,
in
I'm like,
sometimes.
sometimes I just want to start a fight to like start a fight. He was like, okay. I'm
Okay,
like,
but that can be the beauty of kink, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we can let's find a way to play and not actually blow up our lives, but like play and find ways to have like this push pull that feels exciting and
well,
good.
that's what I told him, and that's
Yeah.
what he said. His goal is to like figure out how we can like push each other's buttons just enough
Yeah.
to where like we
In
won't
a
actually piss each
playful
other
way.
off, but like
Right.
playful enough to where like we
Yeah.
go like bang it out.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's kind of the goal. 100%.
Yeah.
My partner said he likes to push buttons. I'm like, go ahead. Push them.
Go
I'm really
ahead.
missing
We
those
got
heart
Aries
palpitations.
placement.
Fuck me up.
Let me feel that chest pain. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't want that. I'm very happy, like, being at peace and, like, getting used to that. And
Look at us, guys.
I know.
Look at us.
We did therapy.
I had a moment where I was like, wow, I'm not feeling that chest pain. Like, do I not like him? And I was like, what the fuck is
Okay,
wrong with
actually,
I totally understand.
I love that you say that because I kind of went through the same thing.
Yeah.
Where I was like, am I gonna get like bored of this? And then I was like, no, this is actually everything I've wanted, everything I've been trying to call in. Like, yeah. Anyways.
Oh, I know. I would wake up every morning and I would just like look at him and I'm like, he's everything I want.
You're all I ever wanted.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we have to wrap this up, and I know you got to get going too because you're
To
just.
do my paid therapy session.
Gotta get paid. Guys,
Whatever
if you're
you
looking
need.
for a therapist in the Southern California
Nicoletta
area,
Heidegger.
Nicoletta Heidegger has an amazing practice.
Anything else I can do, please let me know. In return. But
And
no,
if you've seen any extraterrestrial dicks, send us drawings
please,
and
yes,
mock-ups.
I'd like to know what
Yeah.
they look
Oh,
like.
also, I do have a potential sponsor for you. We'll talk.
Okay, let's talk later.
We'll talk later. Anyways, we love you. You are amazing. Thank you for validating my feelings and for giving me amazing perspectives as you always do. I am just in awe of your brain and your heart always. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, I love you
Ditto.
guys.
I love
Thank you
you
for
too.
having me, and I'm excited to see where the monogamy journey goes. And this
Is that your phone? Oh, okay.
replay. Excited to see where the monogamy journey goes and takes you all, and maybe we'll be sitting back here in another 10, 20 years being like, oh my gosh, I'm finally ready to like open up my relationship with this hot extraterrestrial.
The aliens are here and we're gonna fuck them. Okay.
Why? This is the thing. I think they have avoidant attachment. We've talked about this because like I'm too desperate. I'm available, and like why won't they have sex with me?
Okay, so
where
we gotta,
are they?
We gotta play hard to get.
Yeah, but I don't want
Okay.
to play hard to get. Like I want to find one that's available for me. And
We
is
can manifest that.
willing to
100%.
show up.
Manifest it on the pod.
Yeah, manifest.
If
it
you're
here.
listening,
Beep boop bop.
I'm ready for you.
Where can people find you?
I have been taking a little bit of a social media hiatus, but you
Okay.
can still catch me there and join my newsletter and stuff. But at Sluts and Scholars, it's still there. Therapy with Nicoletta, or on my website, nicolettavheidegger.com, and you can follow what I'm doing and check me out.
Love that. And if you're an alien, or extraterrestrial, that's where you should go.
Yeah, slide into my DMs. I will check those.
And guys, you know where to find us. DoubleTeamPodcast.com has all relevant links at Kimi and Nikki, or at Double Team Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And we'll see you guys next time.